All right, bonus episode time.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the CayVin Universe. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't listened to a bonus episode before, I guess you can say basically what this is it's just an episode that's going to be 10 to 15 minutes long compared to our normal episodes that are usually 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. And straight to the point.
So, of course, we are your host. I'm Vinny.
And I'm Caylin.
And thank you for joining us. And that's another thing about bonus episode. No cheap plugs, no advertisements, none of that shit. Nope. So we're gonna get straight into the I don't even can't even remember the full name. The horror show at Extreme Rules, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ! When they first announced that name, I was like, it kind of just call it like something. Just give it a horror pay-per-view name,
right?
Yeah. You know, as we'll get into it, that's one thing that I have noted here is. Not like WWE's done this for years, but not every match was an Extreme Rules match or something like that.
It was
just one, right? Yeah, but still, stick with the stipulation. Come on, people.
I know, right?
What are y'all doing? But all right. So do you want to go ahead and lead us into our first match?
Yeah. Well, first I just wanted to point out that the graphics were really cool.
Like all the
like it looked like the floating, logos.
What is it, like the augmented reality type deal? Yeah, that's basically what it's called.
Yeah. But the first match, New Day versus how do you say it?
Cesaro and Nakamura.
Cesaro and Nakamura, yeah.
Honestly, very entertaining match.
Honestly, yeah.
I was glad that it opened up with the New Day because I always hate because like Gavi mentioned before, New Day is like one of my favorite, reasons why I watch WWE.
Since I've known you, they've always been your favorite.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you've even bought me a New Day shirt before.
Oh, I have.
So that's cool. It's a little snug, so I'm still trying to lose the lbs to fit in that shirt, but hopefully soon.
The LBS.
But yeah, no, is right off the gate. I like seeing that compared to like a match I'm not interested in because it's like right out the gate, and I'm just like ugh. Yeah. So this was a good start, and I mean, great match, honestly, right?
The table match.
Yeah. Is that you knocking?
Huh?
Was that you knocking?
No, it's the cat.
Oh.
Sorry.
But great match, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
The two table thing. Whoa.
Yeah. So of course it ended with they had two tables stacked outside the ring. Yeah. And Cesaro was sitting on the top rope, and Kofi was going to set him up like he was going to jump and hurricanrana Cesaro onto the tables. But when he tried to do that, Cesaro held on, threw him, picked him up, and just slammed him through the two tables, which was awesome. So a great way. It was a table match, of course. The way to win is to throw their opponent to the table. So they did that through two tables.
The crazy thing, New Day were actually the ones who set up the two tables.
Right.
Like that was,
that's funny. That was like they kind of destroyed themselves, You can always play off that. Yeah, Cesaro and Nakamura deserves to be champion, but let's be honest. WWE doesn't give titles to people because they think they deserve it. They give it to whoever they want to be champion. Mm-hmm. Whoever Vince wants to, whoever's his new shiny toy that he wants to push, then that's going to be champion. But like I explained to you, in this pandemic, they can kind of take these chances because, it's more, I guess you could say it's more business than it is just Vince picking and choosing who wants to be champion. Like I explained too, it's all about if you're champion, it's kind of your responsibility to bring in ratings, to bring in viewers, or to keep viewers and ratings. And if you're not doing that, they're really not going to give you the title. So I like that they're taking chances. You can, in the pandemic, they kind of seem like they're taking chances with Nakamura, with Cesaro, and like I said, they freaking deserve it. Two great guys. Honestly, they deserve championship runs on their own. But if we can't get that right now, then tag team champion is pretty good as well.
That will do.
Any other thoughts on the match?
No, just overall it was good. The winner of that one,
Cesaro Nakamura.
Cesaro Nakamura, yeah.
Nice. All right, our next match.
It was Nikki Cross versus Bayley. I don't know how I felt about this one.
Yeah, I mean, Nikki Cross, fan of hers, she's cool. Bayley, I know you were getting kind of annoyed with her. You want to talk about that?
Yes. It's just like, I know it's supposed to be her character, but it's just I hate when it's like too much sometimes. It's just how I feel. Yeah.
A little quick note. I forgot to say two notes that I had here. Remember that joke I made that the intro was going to be better than the whole show?
Yes.
I mean, obviously that, that wasn't, that it wasn't true. Thankfully that wasn't true. But I did want to make a note that intro to the thing, they did kind of have a horror vibe to it. So it was pretty badass.
I did like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, if you don't, if you're listening to this, you don't know me and Caylin. Well, Caylin really is a huge fan of horror. like horror movies and things like that. I wasn't really into horror as a kid. It's not the fact. Why wouldn't I be into horror? A little aside here. It's just, I don't know. It was always like predictable to me, and you know how I am with certain movies. I'm always like, man, if I was in that situation, playing armchair quarterback.
That still does happen sometimes. We're watching a movie and like this guy is like, not getting up or not doing a certain thing to this killer, and you're like, what? Just fucking get up and hit him. It's like, that's not how it's supposed to go.
I know. It's the same thing with wrestling though. See, that's funny because a lot of people, wrestling is, it's athletic. Yes, it's live action stuff, like I said, but it's also part of a story. So, there's times where I can tell, like, they get you hooked in the story because you're like, man, I don't like that. And then it's like, they're getting you involved. They're doing what they're supposed to do. So I guess you can see that correlation, on both sides. Definitely. So you are the one that really got me more into horror movies and things like that and watching them with you. So I know you enjoyed, that, like you said, that's why you wanted to watch pay-per-view because I had the word horror in it, right?
Literally, that's it. Yeah, I was like curious to see, will it really be scary?
Yeah. So anyway, of course it wasn't really that scary, but the horror element was, I guess you could say, just badass cool, right?
Oh yeah.
It was interesting. Something different. Yeah. But the Nikki Cross Bailey match, of course, I almost forgot her name. Right now Bailey and Sasha, they're, apparently a lot of people are watching and viewing and they like what's going on with them. I'm just they're great, obviously, in what they're doing, right? But I don't know. I'm just not interested right now. But
overall, with this match, I just think not very entertaining.
That's maybe if I actually sat and watched the build up to all this, how Sasha and Bailey been main eventing every like week, basically, maybe I'd be more into this match. But honestly, I just don't think I was. But the ending was interesting. How they set it up was, so Sasha gave Bailey basically her her boss brass knuckles, and then Bailey hit Nikki Cross in the ribs and was able to win. So Bailey retained, and like I said, they have something to keep Nikki Cross chasing the title.
Yeah.
All right, so the next match.
What was up with that U.S. title?
Yeah, that was weird. So basically what happened is they announced that Apollo Crews, I thought they were going to say he had COVID, but WWE, I mean, even, people are still, people are suspecting that he has COVID. Because my thing was, why don't they just come out and say he has COVID? But I forget, WWE hasn't been saying that. AEW's the thing. God damn it. I knew it was one time an episode I'll do a comparison. One time an episode I'll do a comparison. Yourself? Yes, I caught myself. Fuck. But AEW is the one that comes straight out and says would you say the honest company? Because they come straight out and say, look, this dude has COVID, or he was exposed to someone with COVID, he's going to stay home. Like, it is what it is. WWE, oh no, he had an injury that Bobby Lashley gave him. And so people are thinking that he still has COVID. Yeah. Or, because even if Bobby Lashley really injured him, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. Do you believe that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I bet everyone was first thinking, oh my God, he has coronavirus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
maybe, possibly.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of, I guess, wrestling and WWE is they blur the lines to the point where it's scripted, it's set up, but then they also get you at times when you're like, wait, was that real? Like, things with the matches, like the Sasha Banks match, you said, or like it makes you think like, wait, was that supposed to happen or not? Because sometimes things don't go to plan, and you never know if that was planned or not.
Never know.
Yeah, so because of that, Apollo Crews came out with Bobby Lashley, and they had the belt on the podium, and he just basically snatched the belt and said, hey, he forfeited, I'm champion, put it around his waist, and that was it. Yeah. And the whole time I was waiting, I was like, okay, Apollo Crews is coming out. Apollo Crews is coming out. Apollo Crews is coming out. Like, no.
Or someone else to defend him at least.
And that was it.
Yeah.
So they definitely
I did remember mention, like, oh, he's just assuming that he's the champion now. Yeah,
exactly. So of course they're gonna do some explaining. What I would like this to happen, because they kind of missed an opportunity to do it do it tonight, but I think it's good they didn't, because now they can have a setup.
Yeah.
What if this is coming clear in my head. What if MVP comes out, says I'm the champion because he forfeited the match, but then Bobby Lashley says I'm the one that he only forfeited because of me. I'm the one that put him out. So I should be champion. Yeah. And now MVP, who's supposed to be managing Bobby Lashley, Bobby Lashley's jealous because you're my manager and you have the title.
Yeah.
Boom. MVP versus Bobby Lashley.
You just predicted it.
Yeah. So I hope, please get this right, because both these guys are freaking awesome. I've been, I've been wanting something more Bobby Lashley. Don't treat him like he's just this brute, jacked, muscular guy. Yeah, he is, but he deserves more than that. Give him a badass feud, like someone MVP. MVP is freaking. He'll levitate Bobby Lashley. I mean, Bobby Lashley should be main event status right now, but MVP will get him over. So I think that's what he needs right now and what they need right now. See, look, I just realized my mic gets unplugged because she's fucking with the cord right now.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, what was next?
The eye for an eye match.
Oh yeah. I wasn't interested at first, but the more I started watching, the more I got interested into it. You know,
I was really impressed to see how they pulled it off.
That was the main thing. Yeah, is they how they pulled it off. Yeah, because that was because like I even told you, I've heard rumors of them using a CGI eye, and then even after when I was reading stuff about it, they were saying that they were gonna even thinking about using a glass eye. Like Seth Rollins pulls out, he's holding a glass eye, like. Yeah. So I'm glad they didn't do any of that because that would have been really cool. I think that's what the main difference was with this than like other pay-per-views like Money in the Bank. Is Money in the Bank, they set up those stipulations and the way they filmed everything, it was like corny. WWE on paper, you would think an eye for an eye match wouldn't be corny, but honestly, and I'm coming for a bias because I am not a fan of Seth Rollins. Honestly, I'm not on the Seth Rollins bandwagon like everyone else is. So I was coming up from a bias that, like I said, I wasn't even that interested because I'm not really a fan of Seth. Of course, everyone's a fan of Rey Mysterio, but the more I started watching, the more I got interested, and the fact that they pulled it off in a way that wasn't that corny. They could have pulled that off with the live audience. I just didn't want them to use any type of CGI or anything like that. So that was cool because they basically had Seth Rollins forcing Rey into the steps, and even Rey was like, no, please, no. And then of course you didn't see anything, but when like Rey was turned with his or on the floor, the camera couldn't see him. But then next thing you know, you see Seth Rollins turn around and he gets sick, and then he starts throwing up, and then that was it. All the medics came out and stuff. So of course Ray didn't really lose his fucking eye, but the way they pulled it off was pretty good. Yeah. And they have a story to say that he'll come back better with his vision because they even said his eye was out, but nothing was detached, or if nothing was detached and stuff, he'll still have his vision. So there you go. Cool. Cool little story. Yeah.
And I like how his son was just like right there already.
Right. Yeah. He was just waiting. It happened. I mean, they're slowly, and like I like how they're slowly like easing the son into like storylines and stuff because he's eventually going to become a wrestler. Oh, yeah. There was a theory that they were going to do a mask. Ray like loses, like Ray versus his son one day, and if Ray lost, he would take off his mask, and at the end of the match Ray would take off his mask and give it to his son, like pass the mask down. Like there was not rumors, but there was like dream like scenarios of people saying, oh, that should happen, and then Ray came out and was like, no, I'm not giving my son my mask.
But honestly, okay, so Ray has he ever taken his mask off? Like he
did in WCW, but he regrets that, and like that's not like that's not canon. That doesn't count because like in the luchador, what's the word I'm looking for? The luchador like background. Yeah, but in the luchador background, it's like it's like a sin to take off your mask, and basically when you take off your mask, your career is over. You can't wrestle anymore. You can't show your face. It's like sacred to them basically. Of course I'm sure nowadays, because that's like old school hardcore wrestling. I'm sure nowadays it's looser, but Rey Mysterio is an old school wrestler, and I'm sure a lot of people still follow those old school principles like other luchadors. I was making AEW comparison, but I stopped. Oh no. Stop myself. So yeah, great match. What was next?
Yeah. Oh, just one thing I wanted to point out. I kind of liked like the few videos that they had throughout the pay-per-view of like teasing like the swamp match.
Oh yeah, and Bray Wyatt and cool. stuff. Yeah. And then Bray Wyatt was like, "You want to see the most horrifying thing on TV?" And then they showed that karaoke thing from SmackDown. That was cool.
And he's like, "Oh, that wasn't the right tape."
Right. After that, you had Sasha versus Banks. Now we both wrote our notes on that.
Did you hear what you just said?
What?
Sasha versus Banks.
Oh, I meant Asuka versus Banks.
They kind of sound alike. That's right. Funny though.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Think about this match was annoying.
Yeah, and I wrote meh. So they set it up. I mean, fan of Asuka. No, it was an interesting match. It was a good match, but
it was okay until the end.
Yeah, so the end was very confusing. Yeah. Asuka was gonna spray the green mist. Sasha moved. She missed the ref. Ref went down. Bailey attacked her. Bailey pulled the shirt off of the ref, put it on, and fast counted Sasha Banks to win. Yeah. So they walked out with all 4 titles. Sasha, saying that she won the women's title, and now she has the tag titles. And then Bailey with the SmackDown title and the tag titles. I think they just did that for the visual. I'm sure tomorrow they'll give the belt back to Asuka.
Yeah.
So
there's gonna be like something like
just something people to talk about.
Someone somewhere or whatever, said this isn't fair, and
yeah. So it was pretty interesting, but so that we'll just kind of see how that plays out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Drew versus Dolph. I wrote surprisingly good. That was a really good match, honestly.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes it was a cool concept of the match, like how nobody knew what type of match it was going to be until literally the very end.
Yeah, so then even Dolph said, "Huh."
The last second.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Dolph said, like, when you're done, like, I'm not gonna announce it till you announce us and all that. And then he even said, "You're dumb for signing a contract where I can choose stipulation anytime." So it was an Extreme Rules match for Dolph Ziggler, but it was a regular match for Drew. And then if Drew gets counted out or disqualified, he loses the title, and Dolph Ziggler can't get counted out or disqualified. So that was really interesting. That's something they didn't do before, because I was even thinking when Dolph was gonna announce his stipulation, I was like, he's gonna make him like put his hand behind his back or blindfold, because they've done things like that before when people get to pick the stipulation. So, and that's always corny too. So this was a way to do it where it's pretty badass. So like I said, surprisingly good, freaking awesome finish.
And one thing I even mentioned before the match even ended, Dolph Ziggler was a part of, like, only he could use the Extreme Rules, and I thought to myself, damn, so if Drew McIntyre wins, that's just gonna make him look more badass. Yep, awesome. He went through all of that, like, didn't even get to use like any of the privileges of Extreme Rules.
Yeah, and he still won. Nice. Yep, that's true. That's very true. Yeah, made him look like a fucking beast.
Right. This was the last match, the swamp match.
The swamp match. I mean, of course, people were saying, that it was gonna. That's the first thing that pops into mind. How they used live reptiles during this match. Oh man, they used one snake. One fucking snake.
I thought, like, swamp, I was gonna see like alligators and like fucking.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting. I was waiting on alligators when they're in the literally when they were in the swamp with the lily pads and all that. I was waiting for a fucking alligator, but there was an alligator that popped out, and his name was the Fiend.
Oh, like, wait, what?
I don't know. I don't know if I even said Drew McIntyre retained the title last match. I don't know if we said that or not. If we did, I'll just cut this part out. But so it started off cool. Of course, Braun Strowman would be the one to pull up in a big ass Ford truck.
Oh my god, nice truck.
Yeah, it was pretty badass. So, Bray Wyatt sitting in a rocking chair, and then of course it goes pitch black. He's laughing.
You're like, he's gonna disappear. Watch.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I was like, he's gonna hit him and he's gonna disappear, but he basically same thing happened. He just didn't try to hit him. So it was good. And then there was a point where Braun was fighting these extras, and then he got knocked out by himself. They just cut the camera, or like, hey, Braun, now you're gonna act like the evil Braun. I did like how they did that, like the kind of Pennywise type seeing visions and stuff. Like when Braun saw Alexa Bliss, and she's like, "Come to me, Braun, come to me."
He was like seeing and like hearing children and shit.
Yeah, that's cool. So he's like kind of messing with his mind. So when he got knocked out, he was tied to a chair. He woke up chained to a chair. Yeah. And Bray Wyatt did this whole monologue, which was badass. And then he apparently gets bit by this snake, because they have this lady come in with this black veil, which you end up seeing it's Alexa Bliss, or the vision of Alexa Bliss. Basically he gets bit by the snake, gets knocked out again, wakes up, and then he's out of the chair. He's just like in the middle of nowhere, and there's like a fire, and then he starts fighting with the extras again, burns one of them. Guy gets lit on fire.
Is this real? How are they doing this?
Yeah, it was like you could tell it was like a stuntman with the fire suit, but that was, I mean, regardless, that was still badass for the visual. Like I said, like I've said before, when you watch wrestling, and I hate myself for this sometimes. I think too much of like, oh, that's because of this, or this because of this, because sometimes you gotta like just get lost in it, just like you would in a TV show. So
I get that.
So as far as the visual goes, that was badass.
I agree. When they get to the swamp, he and I was thinking it was over. I was like, really, for real? He just freaking choke slammed him once.
Yeah, that was kind of, I didn't like that.
And then he goes away on the speedboat.
Yeah, Braun choke slams Bray into a speedboat, and then the speedboat takes off. And then another speedboat comes out. Another speedboat comes. He looks. He gets in the swamp. He looks. There's nothing in it. And then Bray Wyatt pops up from the water. Yeah. They start fighting.
That was gonna be the Fiend then.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be the Fiend then. Yeah. I'm glad they kind of drew it out. Mm-hmm. They keep fighting. They take it to the dock, and then finally, Bray Wyatt thinks he's put Braun away. Braun stands up.
He's even like, it's over.
Yeah. No. This is before when Bray Wyatt was like before he kicked him in.
Oh.
Yeah, because Bray Wyatt was beating Braun down with that stick, that paddle.
Okay, yes, now I know.
Yeah, and then but I like the how Bray Wyatt's character is, because like at that point when Bray was like Bray thought it was over, and then Braun stands up and Bray turns around. Normally, you know, in that type of scene, the other guy would be like, "Oh my God, like how are you still standing?" But Bray noticed he was laughing and like smiling. Yeah. You know, so it's like he expected him to get up. You know, so I like how they kind of like keep integrity with the character. Braun Spartan kicks Bray, knocks over the railing. Bray gets into the water. Yeah. Then that's when Braun's looking over and he's like, "It's done." Yeah. And then sure enough, what happens? Bray Wyatt claws him in, drags him in. They're fighting. So technically, Bray Wyatt did beat Braun, because Bray Wyatt was the one that drawn Braun, or maybe he wasn't. Yeah. But anyway, Bray Wyatt tries to get up to the dock for a second, but then something pulls Bray Wyatt in.
You noticed that, and I was like, "Oh, really? That was too fast."
Next thing you know, water.
Called it.
Huh?
We called it.
Yeah, we caught. No, yeah, we caught it. Yeah. Next thing you know, water turns red. Who pops up? The Fiend and Show. Yeah. So that was pretty good. Zooms in. Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I like the ending. Like I said, that match was it had its ups and downs, but definitely great finish. Yeah. Definitely
overall
great finish.
Good for the horror.
Yeah, and of course, I kind of expected it too, because I noticed Braun Strowman is champion, but it wasn't for the title, because of course, I mean,
wow, that sucks.
Yeah, because in that type of match, is there technically a winner? Because there's no ref. Yeah. And then they for the Boneyard match with Undertaker and AJ Styles, that was able to be a winner because it was literally whoever gets buried loses. Yeah. So overall, what would you rate the pay-per-view?
Overall, 8 out of 10.
Nice. Honestly, 8 too. Because I was thinking that earlier. I was thinking about 8 out of 10. So yeah, that's pretty good, pretty solid pay-per-view. There you go, people. You got more than 15 minutes out of us for this bonus ep. I just noticed too, maybe we'll turn this to a full-fledged episode. I'm just kidding.
I'm like, I'm tired.
I know you got to go to bed.
Yeah.
So all right, we'll get out of here.
Started.
Yeah, but yeah, guys. So thank you guys for listening, and we hope you guys have a great week. Oh yeah. Have a good night. Take care, and you will hear from us soon.
Bye, guys.